Story 1. It's been 3 years since this hotel was abandoned. As I understand it, no one is going to tear it down. What's the point? No one is in the way, no one even needs the territory. And it's not surprising, because it's in a bad neighborhood, where only alcoholics, drug addicts, and homeless people live. And she worked very little, until, apparently, the owners have not realized that customers think 10 times before moving in there. Even those who were passing through avoided the whole neighborhood. It wasn't that the hotel was poorly built or under-equipped. It was where it stood. And a year later, when the owners got tired of lowering room rates, they just closed it. Now nobody cares about it. Young people, drug addicts, and even homeless people live there. Everything is better than on the street. I often visit the place. It's in my nature to love such places. It reminds me of something, but I can't remember what it is. There is even my favorite place in this hotel, where I spend most of my time. It's an ordinary one-room and now empty room, overlooking the city. The wallpaper is torn, and there are cigarette butts and bottles on the floor. All in all, it's no different from any other room, but when I'm there, I get a haunting feeling that someone is waiting for me. Perhaps it was my family who was waiting for me when I was alive. There aren't many people like me here. They, like me, just hang around the corridor or stand in one place all night. I come here often and have been coming here for about a year, but I haven't talked to any of them yet. They have no interest in me or the living. They've been dead a long time. Sometimes I watch them. Some of them are rather boring and uninteresting, because they have the peculiarity of staring out the window or into a corner all the time. There are some that don't like to stand in one place. They walk from room to room all the time, sometimes even running around for no reason. I think they're just trying to remember who they were. The problem is, it doesn't work out. They, like me, are trying to cling to what connected them to their past lives. Even when I'm in that room, I have feelings, but I can't even remember my parents' names. Everything human in me is slowly fading away, but I believe it has to. I believe it's just another phase you have to go through on your own to finally find peace. Why is death considered so scary? I don't remember why I was so afraid of it when I was alive. Surprisingly, I remember well how I died. It was 4 years ago. I was walking home from work. It was already evening, the snow was falling, the roads were bustling, and everyone was rushing home, to their families, to those who love and wait for you. Someone was waiting for me too. Then there was the screeching of the tires and the bump. It didn't hurt at all. I lay there, getting colder and colder. I couldn't move or even blink, but I kept feeling the cold. I may have been dying by then. As I lay there, I thought about everything. I even remembered when I had my eraser stolen in 2nd grade, and I threw a tantrum about it. When I remembered that, lying on my back, it was funny. A tear ran down my cheek, and to my surprise, it was so warm. Then the light, very bright. It was a flashlight. I couldn't hear very well what those people were saying, as if I were listening underwater. At that moment, I remembered swimming at the lake. It was a vivid memory and very colorful. Then it went out. I wandered around. It was like a dream. I couldn't understand anything. Everything was familiar to me, but I had no idea where I was. I don't know how much time passed until I came to my senses. At this point, I was on the outskirts of the city, next to an already closed hotel. I had plenty of time to think it over, because I was in no hurry to go anywhere. The first thing I did when I came to my senses was to go home, and I realized that he was gone. Or rather, my family was now living somewhere else. At that point, I knew everyone in my family, but now, no matter, I headed back to where I came from. Later, I realized that when you're dead, you're not held in chains. The dead are supposed to dwell where they died. But that's not really true. I could go wherever I wanted. But I had no desire to leave the city itself. Perhaps I believed that I could still meet my family. 4 years have passed since then. Now I'm in that room again, looking out the window. For a second, I thought I was becoming like those vegetables wandering aimlessly down the halls. There's loud music playing in the building again. I couldn't concentrate, and for the first time I was getting angry. And then I remembered an incident that happened when I first started coming here. One day, some sect of Satanists came in and slaughtered chickens and painted the walls with blood. I was a little offended that nobody cared to clean it up for them afterwards. In my lifetime, I remember seeing their murals in abandoned houses where I used to play with my friends as a kid. Naturally, there was nothing I could do. We could only watch it and just wait for them to finish. I was about to leave when suddenly I noticed one dead person standing there watching it all, just like me. Up to this point, I thought one was unhappy with what was going on, but he was just furious. He was shaking with anger and was willing to do anything to make them stop. What happened next was a mystery to me. The Satanists appeared to be summoning a demon or whatever, unaware that 2 meters away was evil itself, which hadn't been able to find peace for years. He endured this noise year after year. Apparently, this ritual of theirs was the last straw for him. He swung himself around and struck the wall. The rumble of the blow was like a gunshot, plus the echo echoed throughout the hotel. The Satanists, to put it mildly, were staggered, not after the blow, but after they saw the sudden dent in the concrete from their fist. A couple of seconds later, they were gone from the building. Frankly, if I had my digestion, I would have put on my own after such a spectacle. Now, many years later, I recognized that dead man. The whole time he was here looking out the window, as if he was waiting for someone. I don't know how he did it. I was sitting in my room in the corner of the room the moment I heard construction work going on outside the window. I don't know how I hadn't heard them before. It's like I'd blacked out. I don't know how exactly. But I don't care, for I am dead. Apparently, they decided to finally flatten the hotel. I don't know what to do next or where to go. This room will cease to exist in a few minutes, but it was what helped me to hold on and not go crazy. But there is no choice. I will have to wander in search of a new home. If I stay, I will become like those mindless creatures that roam the streets. Maybe I was lucky, or maybe it was fate, but I found a new home for myself. A vacant house, but unfortunately, it is rented, and in the future, I will have to share it with the new owners. Strangely, this street where the house stands has become very different. I recognize it somehow. I don't understand, so much time has passed. I like the house very much. There's an old chair here. Apparently the previous owners forgot to take it away. As I wandered the streets, I thought about my family. Now I don't remember it at all, and more importantly, I don't want to see them. I'm angry of them. I feel like they abandoned me, left me behind, left me here. I don't want to see anybody, nobody. This is my home, mine, and that's it. I won't tolerate anybody here. I'll kill anybody. I'll kill if he dares to stay here even for a day. I'll kill. The house is mine. I won't look for another. I'll kill anyone. Story 2. One night, a few hours after I came in from my shift, a man came down the hall and started hanging around the lobby aimlessly, talking to himself. Occasionally he would sit at his desk, getting up every 2 to 3 minutes to change chairs and sit in the same seat. Every time I asked if he needed help, he mumbled that he was fine. He went off to his room, but came back a few hours later, saying that he had turned on the heater and was now not feeling well, asking me to call an ambulance. Just seconds later, the fire alarm went off. When the firefighters came down the hall, they asked me several times if there was anyone else with the man. I replied that he was definitely alone. When I went up to the room, I understood why they were asking me that. All the furniture had been moved, the TV was in the bathroom, and there was a trash can burning in the middle of the room. There was baby stuff scattered all over the room.